Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Tori, or Victoria if you're new here. If you're not new here, welcome back. So today I wanted to share with you guys 5 of my top tips and tricks for fighting acne or breakouts naturally. So some of these things you've probably heard before, and others are something I can promise you've never heard before because they're quite different. But I've been using all these tips for a really long time and they have really worked for me. If you've been following my journey, you probably know my struggles with skin and acne. About a year ago I had hormonal acne, which I have a full video on. If you're interested in watching that, I will link it somewhere. And then after that my skin cleared up, but then I just sort of had pesky little breakouts that were more surface level. I tried acne.org, which I really enjoyed. I have a couple videos on that I will link, but I thought it would also be good to share some of these more natural tips and tricks because for me at least they really have worked. And not many people know them, so I thought I would share those with you today. So before we get started, be sure to hit that subscribe button below and be sure to give this video a thumbs up. I also just wanted to say, I don't know if the camera just moved. If it did, I'm sorry. For all of my skincare videos, I do not wear face makeup, just for transparency. So right now I do have some highlight on, I have some blush, but I don't have any cover up or concealer or foundation or anything like that. Okay, so for the first tip, this is something that you've probably seen in my what I eat in a day sort of videos. I always start my day off with ginger root. This is all that I have left right now. Usually I just get like a full root at the store, and basically what I do is I cut it up and I steep it in hot water, and I try to do this 2 to 3 times a day, and you really have to drink it a lot in order to see results. I don't know the science behind this. Not sure how it works. I do know that ginger is antibacterial and anti-inflammatory, I think, and so I'm guessing that those properties of it are what's sort of working to help your skin. But I noticed that drinking ginger tea like this several times a day clears, it didn't clear my hormonal acne, that's much deeper, but it clears surface level sort of breakouts. And for me in particular, like all the little bumps that you get on your forehead, well, I don't know if everyone gets them, but I used to get really little like little bumps. It wasn't like full on acne, but they were really pesky and really annoying and I couldn't get rid of them. And I found that once I started having ginger a couple times a day, my forehead would clear up and all these little bumps would go away. So I am a firm believer in ginger. It's also great for your immunity. If I'm ever feeling like I'm getting sick, I always have a few cups of this and it totally heals me. And it really is important that it's the ginger root and not powdered ginger. Again, not sure why. I think just having the fresh root, it holds more of the benefits of it, because I have tried it with the powdered ginger and it doesn't do the same thing. And make sure you're steeping it in hot water also, like boiling water, so that it releases more of its juices, I guess. I don't like the sound of that. Anyway, tip number 1, ginger. Now the second tip is going to be one that you've probably heard many times before, so I'm just going to do it briefly, but staying hydrated. This is so important because drinking a lot of water also cleanses your inside and it just hydrates you and your skin and everything, so you will look and feel better. But drinking a lot of water just helps keep everything in your body moving and helps clear out the toxins, and so drinking a lot of water throughout the day is really important for having healthy and clear skin. So my next little natural skincare secret is this salt rock. Now this might seem a little gross to some people, but I don't know if you've ever seen or used one of these. They come in many different forms. I just call them salt rocks, but they are basically like a salt crystal form of deodorant. It's a natural deodorant. It's marketed as a natural deodorant. And it's basically just, I'm gonna have to write it somewhere here because I don't know what like the chemical or the element formula or whatever is. It's basically a rock that you wet and then you traditionally would use it under your armpits. But I found that because it is salt, if you wet it and then put it on your breakouts, it dries them out. This is something that I've been doing since I was like 12 years old because my mom discovered this in her teen years, and it honestly really works. The only reason that it stopped working for me was because since I have been using this since I was 12, my skin after years and years just became so used to it that it was less effective. And so then I had to start trying benzoyl peroxide, I tried acne.org, all that kind of stuff. But I have found that because I've been switching to that lately, I was traveling recently and I didn't have it with me, but I had my salt rock and I used this and it cleared my breakouts. So giving my skin that little break, let it sort of forget about the power of it, and then it worked really well again. And so if you haven't already tried this, try it. It might work for you. I will link this down below. There's several different versions of it. I've only tried a few different brands, but I'm sure they'll all work the same. I'll link a few down below. So if you're interested in seeing those, you can check down there. But yeah, it's natural salt deodorant, but if you wet it and you put it on your skin, it helps breakouts. And you have to do this a couple times a day. So I would say before you go to bed, when you wake up, and like maybe 2 or 3 times throughout the day, depending on the type of breakouts. And again, not for hormonal acne, but more for surface level sort of breakouts. And this is honestly like my favorite secret because nobody would ever think to put deodorant on their face. I've heard of toothpaste, but this is more effective than toothpaste. And it's clear, you don't see it. It sometimes leaves like a salt layer, so if you're gonna be going out, just kind of like dust the salt off a little bit. But I also find that swimming in the ocean is really helpful. I guess that can be like a kind of number 6 tip, but I don't have an ocean accessible to me right now. Most people don't. So if you do have the ocean accessible to you, or a sea, swimming in that is great. When I was in Mexico or the Mediterranean, my skin is always beautiful because I'm swimming every day for so long. But if you don't have that, salt rock is the way to go. So my next little tip is something that I discovered while I was going through my hormonal acne journey. And that is anything that comes into contact with your face brings bacteria to it. So do not put your hands like this. I do that sometimes, and I don't know if you can see. Sorry for getting really up close and personal. When I do, I get breakouts wherever I put my hands. So it's usually along here or along here because that's where I'm going. And I totally 100% notice when I'm wearing hats a lot, like beanies and stuff in winter, I break out all along my forehead because having something in contact there is just sort of spreading the bacteria, and that will make you break out. So this is also super important to be aware of in your pillowcase or your sheets. So changing your pillowcase, you don't have to change your sheets every day, but changing your pillowcase at least once a week, I would say. There was a time that I was super paranoid and I was doing it every 3 days or so, but I think once a week is probably enough. You can experiment, see if any of that helps for you, but that can be really helpful with sort of that pesky bacterial type of acne, because yeah, having constant contact creates irritation, and also spreading bacteria can cause acne. So those two things, the contact and the bacteria, can definitely be culprits of breakouts sometimes. And another important thing for washing your pillowcase or your sheets or those things, try to use more natural laundry detergents, because using really harsh chemicals and stuff, that stuff stays in whatever you're washing, and then that can also really irritate your skin and cause breakouts. So just try to stick to more natural sort of cleaning products. And my last tip and trick is probably something that is a little bit obvious as well, but it's still super, super important, and that is the food that you eat. And so I basically eat a plant-based diet, lots of fruits and vegetables, lots of whole plant foods, and I think this has also helped my skin a lot. Dairy can be a big cause of acne, and just oily or greasy foods, so I do try to avoid fried foods as well. I definitely enjoy my fries and chips time to time, but everything in moderation. So if you're eating this stuff all day for all your meals, then it's probably going to affect your skin more heavily, but here and there is totally fine. I do notice when I'm eating a lot of sugar and a lot of fried food that my skin is worse, but again, these things are also good and they're worth it, so I wouldn't be too strict on yourself with these things, but it is something to be aware of. So everything in moderation. Anyway, those are my 5 tips and tricks of natural ways to clear your acne or breakouts. I hope you find these useful. If you've heard of any of these before or tried any of them or have any of your own ideas, leave those down below for myself and others. Remember to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and you want to see more videos like this. And yeah, thank you for watching. I will see you soon.